Hello everyone and welcome back to EastEnders Weekly. This is your weekly podcast all about corrections.
Oh, I see what you've done there.
Yes.
Yes, we've had a few messages from our listeners just letting us know that we've made a little
Well, we
mistake.
asked, we said, because we didn't know.
We like to be honest, and we say this on every show. We say if we say anything that's wrong or incorrect, let us know because we want to be honest.
Yeah, we've had two of the same thing from our last week's Julia's Legacy, where we talked about Masood and Amira leaving with her baby. Didn't know what happened with that. So I've got two, they're basically the same message, so I'm just going to read the shorter one.
So we couldn't get away from it. We couldn't hide it under the.
So
mat.
it's from Sarah Mithelin and also Camille Vinson.
Hello, you two.
But
Thanks
I'm
for
going to
letting
read the
us know.
shorter one, but you both say the same thing. So, hi both. In your last episode, you said that Amira and Saeed's baby hadn't been mentioned. I'm pretty sure it's a girl called Yasmin that Christian and Saeed are now raising together. Think there was a storyline where Amira gave the baby to them, but it's definitely come up a few times as she has mentioned it, and Masood and Jane has visited them. Thanks. Love your show, by the way.
Oh, thank
Just
you very
thought
much.
I'd add that in. And yeah, the other one goes into more detail of all the storylines. But so that's helpful for us, so we can update our knowledge.
Yes, no, honestly, this is what we say. We want to make sure that what we say is correct, and if we're incorrect about anything, and you know that we are, then let us know, and we always chat back and we say thank you. And it also strengthens my plot point that I made many moons ago when we said if I was an executive producer of the show, and that is bringing Christian and Saeed back with the little baby Yasmin. And
Not a baby anymore, it'll be 11.
Well, there you go.
Ish.
So
Someone tell me how old the baby is.
yeah.
I can't do math.
I don't know what we're doing anymore.
No, it's not all about corrections, this podcast. It's also about EastEnders, the weekly soap. We'll be discussing episodes from the 4th to the 8th of February. And we had a special comeback this week.
We
Who we're
did.
going to open with.
We are. I'm Alex, by the way.
You are, and I'm Ben, the alleged host. But yes, our lovely friend Kathy is back. Finally, we've been talking about this since October.
Where's Kathy's storyline? Kathy needs a storyline. I even started a hashtag on Twitter, which
I know.
people enjoyed. But yeah, so Kathy is back.
She
But
is. Long holiday.
before she returned, two other characters got brought back up
Mm.
into our consciousness.
Yes, we had Tamwa and Nancy now in Holby City, and also Tamwa is in a Channel 4 comedy about social workers.
But for the purposes of EastEnders, they're in Australia.
They are. They're like travelling. They left with a Julia's theme to go travelling.
Oh, more Julia themes later in our
Yes.
feature.
So they've been travelling. She's had a motorbike. She's had a motor accident in the past off screen.
Oh yes, because
Nearly
Mick had
died.
to find money up quickly, didn't
Yeah,
he, to get
had to
out there?
leave.
Well, this is when they had their money woes.
And now her and Tamwa are getting married, and they're going to be getting married in Australia.
Yes, with much to the disappointment for I think a lot of people, because I think everyone was looking forward to the idea of having Tamwa and Nancy to return, just for even just a one-off episode.
I know they were. Well, I don't care about Tamwa, but I like Nancy.
Oh, I really grew to like Tamwa.
Yeah,
in
he
the
got
end.
better actually. Like him and Nancy were really good coupling together.
Yeah, they
Really
were
good.
perfect. They really worked well, and it was nice the way it was ended. And it's nice that fictitiously they're now getting married, and there might be little baby Nancy Tamwas.
They're happy. So it started off with the week where Mick kept getting calls from Tamwa but couldn't hear what he said or
Well,
didn't
they kept leaving
answer.
answer phone messages, and Linda was upset because Tamwa was phoning Mick and not Linda, and it wasn't really, Mick couldn't put his finger on why he was phoning him, and Linda was adamant that something's happened to Nancy.
And we saw Masood, who hasn't been seen in ages. He just appeared.
Masood was back.
And he got the news and broke it before Mick got a chance because he was like on the phone at the same time, and then Masood told Linda, and she screams, and then
Mick was on the phone at the time, and then he just found out.
ring the bell, drinks all round.
Yeah, everyone got a free drink. I wish I was in there at the time.
But yeah, they're getting married. That's all good. Blah blah blah. But the main point of this topic is there's a certain lady get out of a taxi
Yeah, with a nice.
with her one bag.
Yeah, this always amazes
Her one
me.
It's a little suitcase
It's
too.
a tiny little suitcase. She's been away 3 months. So she must have found maybe a Spanish
Just a-
laundry or Portuguese laundromat.
All she was
somewhere.
wearing was her bikini and a, what are they called? Those like,
Shawl.
Shawl, yeah. That's all
Schroll.
she had. That's all she had was that in her bag.
I mean, a lot of people do, especially if they're on a bargain flight. They like to save a few pennies by wearing everything they're taking on holiday with them. So maybe Kathy just went out there wearing every single item of clothing she had and just one by one tore it off as she went through them.
There's been a lot of reaction online for the Kathy coming back. I thought we were the only ones who were excited or missing her.
No,
but apparently
Kathy,
not.
Yeah, there's a big deal. Everyone loves Kathy.
I know, it's really weird.
But you have to
Well,
remember,
obviously not weird because we love her. But
well, she's one of the originals, and she's probably the one who's going to survive the longest because she was looking good. I mean, there was questions out there whether Ian Beale was actually her son. I mean,
or her brother.
Well, yeah. I mean, let's be honest. She looked great when she returned.
I couldn't like watch it properly because I kept like I couldn't get over what she looked like.
Oh, I know.
It was really weird.
It was. Yes.
Yeah, I'm glad she's back, and it's nice having her back.
I love Kathy. As we've said on the show on numerous occasions, we do love Kathy, and we always want her to have a storyline. And
she's literally picking up the storyline from like 8 months ago.
Yeah.
Like there hasn't been a gap, but there has.
Well, it's been forgotten somewhat that Ian begged Kathy to not date Masood because he was upset when he found out that she was still alive, and now he wants her to be his mum and look after him.
Yeah, because there were a few good scenes before she left where they were discussing that, and they were quite decent. But yeah, it kind of got forgotten that her and Masood were a thing, and you kind of got the impression that she chose Ian over him.
I thought
but then she came back from holiday.
Yeah.
And she's like all of a sudden on Masood.
But literally on Masood. There was mentions of Ian didn't hear us last night. Wink. 4
in the morning.
No, once in the night. Yeah, once at night and then once in the morning. I thought Kathy was going to be a bit more resistant. I thought there'd be a bit more of a resistance from Kathy. Like, no, I can't. But it was quite full on. It was the first person she saw when she got home.
Yeah,
was
Masood.
Masood.
Give a little smile.
They went off to Orford East, had a drink, kissed. That was the end of it.
She's also been reading like novels on the beach and got a
few meals
ahead
in
of
Boone.
herself.
Yeah, I bet she was.
She's been thinking about 3 months. She's been there on that beach thinking about Masood.
They should have shown a scene of Masood and Kathy kissing, and then shown a shot of the waves of the sea bouncing along the sand.
I know slight spoilers, but it's been announced that Masood is leaving very shortly, so it kind of takes a bit away from the storyline.
Yeah, because it's ultimately going to end badly.
Poor Kathy.
Poor Kathy. Yeah, I know.
Another storyline of hers just gone. So it kind of takes it away slightly.
Nothing ever goes right for Kathy, and I feel a bit sorry for her for that fact.
But we had some news about Bobby Bill
being
released.
Ian got a letter. He's been released in July.
So Ian wants to then talk to Kathy about this. And I guess this is where the storyline is going to head, where Kathy has to choose her family or her love. Like, because she makes a point of saying, I'll be here for you through all of it.
Yeah, because she's encouraged, because Ian's not sure whether he actually wants to have Bobby back, and he's more sure that maybe Jane should be. Although in the past, I don't think Jane would have been a top choice either.
No, if they don't announce Bobby is returning, that's what I would have predicted, that he would just go stay with Jane off screen.
Yeah, but Jane, he had I suppose it was a love-hate relationship. I mean, Jane loved Bobby, and that's why it was really her idea ultimately to cover up the whole Lucy murder. Seems like such a long time ago now. And now that Bobby's being released, I don't think Bobby would have any preference between Jane or Ian. I mean, there was a lot of talk before Friday's episode when then they did talk about Jane must have got a letter too, and so she must be aware that he's being released. There's a lot of people who said, well, why is Jane not being involved with it? Because the court wouldn't know that Jane doesn't live with Ian anymore.
I know, because they're not divorced that we know of, unless that's been
No, they're not divorced because he still wears his wedding ring.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's very messy. It's a shame that Jane can't come in for like 3 weeks, even if she doesn't want to return full time, just to help, because it's so hard to do this storyline with her off screen.
Yeah,
doesn't really make sense, but
because Jane is very contactable, because we know that Jane has talked to Masood. It's just, and Ian has talked to Jane, hasn't he? Because he said because
he invited her to the opening of the restaurant.
That's
and
right.
She said she had doing her hair or something. Still something weird.
Looking after her dog.
Kathy wants Bobby. She got lots of decisions made on holiday.
She did.
She wants Masood, and she's decided she wants Bobby home, and she's going to be there to help.
She has.
Great grandma.
She is. She's a good grandma.
Great grandma.
She's the great grandma. Jeez, I can't. She hasn't. Watching the classic episodes, like
she looks younger now.
She does. I mean, when we saw her 2 weeks ago at the NTAs, and we were both like, "Wow, no
can't
way."
wait to see her, like what she looks like now on the show. She's gotten better since she's returned and gone to the NTA. She looks different again.
Since filming's begun.
Yeah, I can't cope.
She's
got a new haircut.
She has.
She's got darker roots, I noticed. And a middle parting, not a side parting.
Oh, right.
That's what it is.
That's it. That was the change. I knew it was something. I just couldn't put my finger on it.
Lots of water.
I bet her ankles are like really chunky from all the water retention.
And also, I loved how when they're in the pub, there was a Lou Bill mention, which is always nice when that happens.
Yes,
She's still mentioned.
Not Louise.
Oh God, no.
No, Lou.
Yeah.
She put them all straight. If
Grandma
she was still
would
there.
be spinning in her grave if Kathy was more Bill than her.
It felt like that the square is haunted by Lou, isn't it? So like her mention is always needed and relevant, just so we can be reminded.
I hope there's some mentions of her and Ethel and that lot like next week with Dr. Legg, because I know that Dr. Legg and Dot like reminisce over things.
Yeah,
so I'm hoping to see photos on the table and all sorts.
Especially their recent trip, which we'll talk about on the classic roundup later on the show. Talking about Dr. Legg's funeral, someone's going to miss it, and that's Ian, because he's been encouraged to go visit his son Peter and talk about Bobby. Yeah.
The hashtag build up the bills. Is Peter coming back? Bobby's coming back. Ben's back.
It keeps getting
Kathy,
mentioned,
as we know, is back.
Hashtag Kathy's back. Hashtag give Kathy a storyline. It's been mentioned so many times, and I thought at first it was just a reminiscent thing by Ian, but I think this is hints that the bills are being built back up again.
Do you think Peter will come back though?
Yes, I do. I think Peter will
a new
come
face?
Back.
Because he's in films.
Yeah, there's no indication that there wouldn't be recast. I mean, there's a lot of chat that Bobby's going to be recast, but I hope he isn't. Because
no, he's good wasn't he?
Well, you mentioned
he's
that
a stage actor.
He is a stage actor, so he's of the arts, and they've shown his photo recently, and you said if they show old photos of the cast,
unwritten rule that is, because he's on the mantelpiece still, and it's the same actor. So if they're on display still, they're not being recast.
No.
Hence why we knew Zoe wasn't being recast, because they showed a picture of her recently.
Yes, and the Slater sister, who may
Lynn,
she may make a return one day. She's not being recast.
No.
But and I think also the fact that they're not being recast is another hint, because it's been kept very quiet. So if there had been a recast, I think it would have been announced.
Yeah.
So yes, another hint that the bills are being built.
But yeah, he's going to New Zealand to see Peter. Do we know if Lauren's with Peter? No one's really mentioned Lauren since she walked off in the graveyard, did they?
Hobbled off.
No one's mentioned anything about her, so I don't want her to come back. We
do know that Jacqueline Jossa has been smoozing with the EastEnders cast a lot recently.
Oh, yeah. She's got a lot of free time on her hands. Yeah. If you look at her Instagram.
We strongly recommend you look at her Instagram account if you want to see what a bored housewife looks like.
And also she told Ian that her and Masood are a couple and kissed in front of him.
Yes, Ian didn't seem that fussed, to be honest with you. He just said he wouldn't call him Dad.
And he thinks Kathy could do better.
Kathy could turn any head. She turned my head.
Maybe Keanu will move on to Kathy next after Sharon.
He likes him older.
That'd be good.
And Kathy likes him younger. There's a lot of older women having relationships with younger men on the square. It just suddenly hit me. There's the Kush and Denise, Keanu, Sharon.
Kathy, Masood, half his age.
Dennis and Tiff.
Right, so next up we have our ongoing feature, which is Julie's Legacy. So we're back with another part of our ongoing series.
Many parts.
Of Julia's Legacy, where we take a look at every single Julia's theme used at the end of an episode. And there's a big one that we're missing this time, so don't email us.
No.
Because we know we're missing our great Pat Butcher, but she gets one for herself.
We're doing
dedicated.
We're going to do a special one with like the
special ones. Peggy.
A special one for the special ones. Peggy, Pat.
Etc.
Yeah.
So, right, the first one we have this week is the 19th of May 2011. And this is where Jane Bill leaves Wolford after an emotional farewell to her adopted son, Bobby.
I mean, she leaves for perhaps not as long as we think that
I know,
she should leave for.
She's back in like a few months.
8 months later, isn't it? And she's returned. But on this occasion, she's left because she's had enough of Ian. They've gone through the divorce. She's got the cafe, which Ian's really bitter about because that's been in his family since. or in his head, as long as they've had the fruit and veg store, they've had that cafe.
Not quite, but
No, but in his head,
yeah,
he thinks they have.
legacy.
It's a legacy.
But yeah, I mean, their marriage is at a all-time very horrible, bitter,
It's a really
shouty,
nasty,
catty moment. Throughout this episode,
and they're both they're flinging mud at one another, and Ian basically has had enough with how he feels Jane flaunting the fact that she kind of won the divorce, as it were. She won the cafe, and so pushed a little bit by Masood and Zainab's son's daughter's father.
Yes.
I forget his name.
Yeah.
He kind of pushes Ian to then go over and publicly announce in front of everyone in the pub that Jane and Masood had maybe, not officially, but maybe slept with one another.
Yes, in front of everyone. And this is the same night that Archie Bargie's meant to be opening, so it ruined the night for them as well.
With Zainab, yes. And so a little side story is Zainab tells Masood that he's not welcome in their house, and once their children have been married off, that he's going to then have to move out. But
sleep in the closet under the stairs. So Masood has upset Ian quite a lot. You know, he's had an affair with Jane. Yeah, got with Kathy.
Yeah.
So Masood's got a lot to answer for Mr. Bill.
I know he has something for the bills, doesn't he? Or just likes upsetting Ian, perhaps.
Jane, they have during the argument between Jane and Ian, she brings up how she's not his type as well, and she never will be. She's not a slim blonde like all his other past ones. And she says, "Oh, you just settled for me because I was here and stuff." But yeah, very evil relationship going on.
It was really, because really Jane and Ian has, despite the flaws on both parties, Jane and Ian is always this strong relationship. You're always gunning for them to. I think they're ultimately going to end up together. On Ian Bill's very last ever episode of EastEnders, he'll be probably being married off to Jane one last time. You know,
she seems to be the one who seems to come back.
Yeah,
she's come back about 3 times.
She has, and she forgives Ian every time, and then something is always. I mean, when Jane left, this is going off the story a little bit. When Jane left recently, she didn't want to leave. She actually wanted to stay with Ian. So there's always been that relationship, and that's probably why their fight in this episode in 2011 was so nasty, because really they did still have affections for one another, and they realised that this fight was upsetting Bobby, because Bobby comes running down, and then they both.
That was innocent Bobby then.
It was before he learnt hockey, and They both mutually agree that this is enough and they need to stop. And so Jane says to Bobby, "Give me one of your toys. I'll look for somewhere for us to live in, and your toy will always be there for when you come and visit me."
And she doesn't get a black cab exit or a train. She just walks off.
She's walking all the way to her new house.
She's quite like jolly walk, I guess. It's quite a swing in her step.
Yeah,
with her one bag.
Everyone leaves with one bag, isn't it? And they return with the same. I mean, they left. On the whole, Ian and Jane then left on positive terms. Although Ian did beg one last time, he said, "I love you," and she basically cut him down and said, "I don't love you anymore."
Although in an episode, in like 3 episodes time, which we're about to talk about, Jane's back. So
yes, but not with Ian.
No,
Jane's back, and she's an independent single woman.
She is. She's doing comedy things on the radio and all.
But no, this is when Jane did her. That was when Jane did her stand-up routine. Remember? Do you remember that? Do you remember that?
I don't. I remember Tamwa did.
I think it was the same time.
Oh, God.
It was the same time. That's when Tamwa used to dress up as Dot Cotton and do YouTube viral videos. They even put it on the EastEnders website.
And the Instagram.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a shame because I see, by 2011, you think Julia's theme needs to be used. When a character leaves and they have a Julia's theme, it normally means they've left.
There's some stature to it.
Like, that's it. They're not coming back. But then she comes back in like a few months.
Yeah.
So it kind of takes away the point of it. By 2011, I expect Julie's theme to be used properly.
A higher standard of theme usage.
None of this 1986 rubbish where they just randomly use it whenever they want.
No.
So next up, we have the 26th of May, so a week later. It's not very good. Right, in 2011, and this one is very sad. This is when Jim Branning leaves in an ambulance to go to a care home, despite Dot not really wanting him to, but eventually comes to terms that she can't cope.
Yeah, she's very resistant to the idea, and all the Brannings around her house, Jack,
Max, Carol.
Yeah,
the 3 siblings are sort of taking choices away from Dot and saying, no, Jim needs to just go. We've got busy lives, and she can't cope. But Dot wants to be there for Jim.
Dot insists that she can cope, but then you later on find out that it's more that she's worried that she's going to feel lonely and she's going to be without Jim. That's her last kind of connection with a relationship that she has. A close relationship was always with Jim.
Yeah, it's very sad, this ending, because the things going on behind the scenes with the actor where he had a stroke in real life and he was meant to be coming back full time.
But he never really recovered.
He
no, he never really recovered properly.
Yeah. And this is actually his last appearance.
Yeah, it's really, really sad. And you know, they associated it really well actually, and they gave him a nice send off when Dot says one last goodbye to him and apologizes to him. But then she kind of gives the dialogue that he would have said as well, and that is like, "Oh, stop babbling, woman. You know, just you know, I understand. I get on with it." But you can tell with his face that Jim is very sad and upset, and he doesn't, you know.
You can tell that the actor's upset as well. Like, he's probably not acting on these bits. He genuinely knows that it's like, that's what June Brown says. She says, "If I didn't work, I know I'm over." And you can kind of see that in his face. So it's really sad. And you can see all the scenes were filmed in his own house with sets around him and stuff. Yeah,
even the ambulance scene is, you can tell that's not an ambulance that they're sitting in. It's cut very well. You know, it's cut outside. I mean, Fat Boy gives Dot some comfort by just saying that there's lots of people in the square. We're all here. We'll all look after you. You don't have to feel alone if Jim leaves. Because he spots her. She started drinking. She's on the sherry.
Things got to be bad if she's
I know.
voluntarily
Not
drinking.
medicinal. Well, it is medicinal, but a bit too medicinal for Dot's liking.
Yeah, very sad to see Jim go because he's a lovely character. He had so much history of the show and all those people around him, and it was just sad to see that he left like that because they said, you know, when you're better you can come back. But, no, very upsetting.
It's sad just because of the circumstances outside of the show, rather than life imitating art, I suppose. But everything that was happening outside was being shown on the screen at that point, and it was really sad. And I think the whole cast kind of felt, or at least the immediate people who'd worked with the actor felt.
It's the same. Sonia wasn't in the show at the time.
Oh yeah, that's when she was off with Martin.
Yeah, that's a shame that she didn't come back for Jim. I mean, one note for our love for Jack Branning. He wasn't there to see his dad off. Yeah,
good old Jack.
He was busy trying to woo.
He was trying to woo Ronnie, wasn't he? Which is our next,
more important.
Which is our next story. But yeah, no, he's gone off trying to get Ronnie back on side because they, you know, obviously of last week when we talked about the scenes where they break up after Ronnie's discovered from the baby napping. Yeah, he doesn't go see his own dad away.
I know.
Give Max his due. He's there. So's Carol. They all
Max
say
was there probably to make sure he was off.
Yeah, probably put
wasn't
the
the
pillow
biggest
over
fan of Jim, was he?
No, he wasn't.
So speaking of Ronnie, our next one is the 7th of July 2011, and this is carry on from the baby swap storyline. We've seen last week where Kat and Alfie had their like happy ending where they got Tommy back, and this is the redemption-ish of Ronnie where the actresses chose to leave the show. So it's basically Ronnie finding peace with what she did and accepting what she did and facing 3 years in prison.
I mean, it wouldn't be a soap without a little bit of drama before the niceness of the end. And so Ronnie is set up by Michael Moon, who's dating her sister, Roxy, at the time. And he's brainwashing Roxy and trying to brainwash Kat and Alfie, to really be against Ronnie. And his main reason for doing it is he's not particularly a fan of Jack's. I mean...
bent cop.
He's a bent cop. He's never really liked Jack very much. And and so Michael basically he looks after Roxy's mobile phone.
Yeah, and also offers to look after Tommy, so Kat and Alfie have a bit of rest because the court case is happening.
Yeah, because Kat's writing out her statement for the court case to be read out, and he takes Tommy to the playground, leaves at the playground, texts Ronnie from Roxy's phone, and then Ronnie comes along, and it looks like that Ronnie has again stolen the baby once more.
I did feel for Ronnie here. I know what she did was bad and stuff, but you do feel for Ronnie, don't you?
Oh yeah, well, there's rubbing salt deliberately into a wound to wind someone up, and that was a nasty thing to do by Michael.
Can they not nice thing happen to Ronnie?
Never, ever. To her bitter end, nothing nice will ever happen to Ronnie.
No.
But eventually Michael does admit that he had done it because Roxy finds a text message on Ronnie's phone that she didn't send, and
they show it to Kat, and that makes Kat question her loyalties as well.
So this is interesting because when they get to the court, so Jack says to Ronnie, "We should run away."
To Mexico.
Yeah, to Mexico, because that's Jack's answer to everything. Run away! He said it to Stacey, he said it to Ronnie, and she says, "No, I need to face up to my truths. I need to admit to what I've done," which is very admirable. And so she's in the court, and the solicitor for Kat says, "Oh, you've changed your statement." So the audience thinks, Kat's changed her statement. She's obviously going to stay. Oh, I understand what she's like now. I feel sorry for her. But no, it's a much worse. It's a much worse statement, basically showing how it's tore her family apart, and she'll never let Ronnie into her house, and she has to lock all the doors, and really, really nasty. But Ronnie accepts it. She looks at Kath and kind of bows down and says, "Yeah, I did do wrong." And then when Ronnie's solicitor then tries to defend it, Ronnie stops him and says, "No, I don't want you to defend it. I want to be punished. I want to be punished for it."
This sort of had to be done for her character. I feel like the scriptwriters probably, this had to be done for any chance of Ronnie to come back again
for redemption.
Yeah, like it was one of those things because it was such a controversial storyline. So she got sentenced to 3 years.
This is when Kat stood up and said, "No, that's not fair. She's lost her child too." And
it
Kat
sort of clicked. It was real then when she actually got a sentence.
And Kat goes over and a bit like that scene. I said to you, it's like Star Trek. That scene in Star Trek when Spock and Kirk touch hands on the glass. Kat looks at her and says, "I forgive you. I forgive you now." And so there's a nice, as you said, there's the redemption. She's admitted her wrong. She's going to go to prison for it, and she can make up the time. And when she comes back, everyone will be happy to see Ronnie return.
And she looks at her little necklace of the baby.
Well, because Ronnie's been put down for contempt of court because throughout the case she's shouting. Because Roxy forgives Ronnie as well. Now she knows the truth about Michael, and so she's down in the cells too. And as they walk past each other, Roxy gives her necklace, and as you say, Ronnie opens it up and she sees her child.
A nice little fact as well. Oh, this isn't actually Julia's theme; it's a shortened version of a Peggy's theme.
Oh, a Mitchell theme.
A little bit different. Yeah.
Call it a
so
Mitchell
they gave
theme.
that to Ronnie. So yeah, that was nice. She got her 3 years in prison, redemption, and everyone can forgive her when she returns. So the last one that we are talking about is the 17th of January, 2012, and this is when Ricky Butcher bids an emotional farewell to his family and leaves Wolford by train. Now we have talked about this, but the other way round when Bianca left, because it's basically the same, but the other way round.
But this time not in a public Waterloo station. It was at
on set.
It was on set. Wolford East, tube station.
Yeah, but Ricky leaving again.
I mean, they brought him back for the purpose of doing this, didn't they? So he was brought back for a short-term contract, almost just to give Bianca a little, give a bump, a little story. I mean, she went to prison, and Ricky slept with Mandy Salter, who came back too.
Yes.
And Bianca found out. And Ricky tries his hardest to try to show that he still loves Bianca.
Because he slept with her on the day of Pat's death, so he was blaming his emotional state.
Oh right.
But it couldn't be that emotional if you could still put up the performance, Ricky.
Especially for Mandy, she probably was out of it at the time.
They both were.
I mean, Mandy is back, isn't she? And she's dating Ian, and this is when Jane's around too. So Jane must be fine with it.
Very unpopular bringing her back.
No,
she only came back for a year because she didn't hit it off with the audience.
Yeah, I mean, when she was in it originally, she was almost a one story line, wasn't she? And so to come back and then and they tried to make out that she was still this kind of druggy person, but
it didn't really
gel, did it? Not really. As you said earlier, Jane put up quite a comedy performance for the newspaper because they're doing a charity event for cancer because Tanya has discovered that she has cancer now. And so they do a performance, but Tanya's getting very drunk in the Queen Vic this day.
Acting like Lauren.
She is, yeah. Oh, Lauren's been in a lot of episodes too.
Yeah, we just skip her. Max and Lauren seem to be in every single Julie's theme episode.
As a B plot.
Always them, and it's really weird
every time. So Bianca tells Ricky there's nothing he can do or say will make her love him anymore. He gets a tattoo put on his chest. Saying Bianca forever with a rose and a heart.
Oh, I don't like tattoos anymore.
Yeah. Oh no, I thought you liked David Beckham and tattoos. No, I like David Beckham. All right. How easily confused.
But it doesn't have much emotional stand for me, Ricky, because I'm not a big Ricky lover, I'm afraid.
Oh, I don't mind Ricky. The Ricky and Bianca relationship was really interesting, but then when they kept poking it in and putting it in and putting it in, it got really. It's a bit like now the Kat and Alfie story. I mean, you've had enough. They keep coming back to it. And eventually you just get tired of it. I mean, you noticed that when Ricky had his tattoo, he hadn't had the area shaved.
I know,
which is a 101. Exactly. It's almost as if it was fake.
Yeah,
made by the makeup department.
But I always find Julie's themes work better on female characters. Don't know why. They seem to be more hard hitting than there's the stupid Ricky leaving on a train.
I mean, it was sweet seeing Bianca's when they got to the station and Ricky hugged her and he's gave it one more chance to get together, and Bianca was like, "No, just stop. There's no point. This is it now." That was quite powerful by Bianca. She kind of pushed him away when perhaps she was in a quite desperate situation with all her kids and she didn't really have any job. So you think she might have forgiven him, but then Bianca's always been very strong-willed and able to move forward.
Yeah, I have no attachment rate to them, I'm afraid.
No.
So it didn't mean much to me. But the Ronnie one was the best one, I feel.
Oh, yeah, that was excellent.
That was really good.
And it was an hour long, and there was a real story to it. Like, it could have been a self-contained drama within itself, if you knew, obviously, the beginning and what happens after.
Yeah, so we're getting there. We're going into 2012 and 13 next week.
Yes.
And, this is now, Julia's theme is basically used for people leaving. Is now... From now on,
pretty much, because then they started using a different theme for other scenarios, didn't they? Or no theme at all in some instances.
Well, someone leaves by Wings by Little Mix.
But we won't talk about that because
sadly no, because that's not Julia's.
But then we might one day do a spin-off where we do the ones where it's the
Random
Wings from Little Mix. Isn't there another one as well? Didn't they?
There's one with Hayley when she's on top of.
Oh, that was recent.
Skyscraper. Yeah, that wasn't Julie's theme. That was a different song.
That
on
was like
her Walkman.
Her iPod.
But we're getting there, and more popular characters will be leaving next week.
As always, if you have any thoughts, do tweet, Facebook, or Instagram us. Just look for EastEnders Weekly Podcast or email eastendersweekly@gmail.com.
And that was Julia's Legacy. Right. On to the hot affair of the year, 2019.
Well, carrying over from 2018. It's just that hot.
It is. Steaming. We've got the Keanu storyline continuing. My first issue with this storyline this week.
Here we go.
Well, the fact that Keanu just goes to Spain on this job that may kill him.
Yes.
A bit strange.
Yeah, you think he'd be a bit more resilient. But then I suppose...
Okay, I'll pack my fur coat. Bye.
He's a man torn though, isn't he? He's in a situation where he's kind of dug himself a hole and he knows that to get out of it would also dig himself further into another hole. So perhaps in his own mind he thinks that this is a good opportunity for me to kind of move away. Yeah, and just kind of the distance would do us better. But we know that distance isn't really their friend because when Sharon was away for that month in Australia, Keanu just kept listening to the answer phone message.
Do you think Keanu will leave Sharon a message this time that Sharon will keep listening to?
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
Sharon, it's over, Sharon.
Sharon, bad time to think.
I've been smuggling drugs.
Yeah.
Or whatever he's doing in Spain.
In my muscles.
We had some really good scenes with this storyline this week. Sharon demanding credit cards off Phil to go shopping for shoes. Which was amazing in itself.
We did a little poll, by the way, of what shoes everyone thought she'd be getting. Kitten heels or high heels or nude pair of trainers. Overwhelmingly, everyone said high heels.
Oh, of course.
Why not? It's Sharon.
Yes. Stilettos. We also had some good scenes with her and Louise because Louise is feeling down still after her 2-week relationship with Keanu. So Sharon takes her shopping and then they go to the Vic.
Yeah, because they're ladies, so retail therapy.
And they have a lasagna.
And a glass of white wine.
But not a large for Louise. And a lot of people online were moaning, saying Tracy served an underage person.
You can, as long as you're eating. I've worked in a pub, and that's the law.
You're allowed one glass.
I can't remember the age anymore. I think it's 15. So yeah, you're allowed one glass.
So there you go, everyone, moaning.
Yeah.
Poor Trace.
Why don't you talk to your
She's
local...
got a dog at home.
Talk to your local Republican. They'll set you straight.
Poor Tracy. I noticed as well, Kathy was talking to Tracy loads behind the scenes when Ruby and Jay were talking in the Vic. They were having a right old gossip, her and Trace.
Oh, she's Miss Kathy, isn't she? Tracy's an original. Don't forget, Tracy's an original as well.
Tracy was the one who got a phone call from Kathy, remember, when she came back from the dead?
Yes.
Trace, I need your help.
Phil, there's a call for you. I think it's Kathy.
But yeah, I like those scenes with Sharon being like demanding credit cards and taking Louise out, and Keanu was outside and Louise didn't want to walk past him, and Sharon was like, no, follow me, I'll tell you what to do. She just walked past, and they completely ignored him. So yeah, it was funny.
That really upset Keanu as well. Like, he proper welled up when
he's very upset this week, Keanu.
Well,
a bit stalkery. Slightly?
Well, he's, over Sharon.
He's like there all the time. Just walking in to her kitchen or walking past her or walking up to her or all sorts.
I think he really appreciates his own mistake. He's messed
like
up
a lost
here.
puppy.
Yeah, he is lost.
Like
He's lost
Rolly.
without Sharon. Or Willy. He's a Willy without a lead. He needs comfort, doesn't he? He needs to be mothered. He is someone who needs to be mothered.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that Sharon, ultimately, he loves Sharon because of that reason, because I think it's a lot more. But
he likes Sharon over Louise because Louise is really needy and immature, whereas Sharon tells him straight.
Exactly.
Tells him what he wants and
Exactly.
how he wants it.
And Keanu's really the needy one, and he can't stand someone else being more needy than him.
He wants a nice dominatrix.
Yeah, he does.
And he's massive.
Nice pack of furry handcuffs. I mean, he did, again, really mess up this week when we found out that he was really affectionate toward Louise by saying that his scars made her beautiful, and he kissed the scars. And I mean, that's dangerous ground
that
to
upset
play.
Sharon.
Yeah, and it kind of explained why Louise was so upset, because this is the first man, really, who's kind of accepted her for her scars and all.
Well, her boyfriend before, the one that she just ditched like 2 years ago, he was really supportive to her. She just got rid of him.
Well, no, he was with her before the candles, and
but he was really nice, and
he
she
was
just got
nice.
rid of him.
He was nice.
Can't remember his name.
No, I can't either.
I do know it. It's in my head. But he was really nice. She just ditched him. Keanu kisses her scars, and he's the next best thing.
Yeah. Well, she does need, as you said, she's as needy as Keanu is, and so gives a bit more of a explanation for why Louise has taken it so hard after like only a week of being together. I mean, she was planning trips to the zoo with him, so that's
true.
That's 3 months down the line for most relationships, you know.
Who's going to teach her driving now?
Well, she has already passed her theory.
Yeah, theory. Who's going to teach her more practical?
Well, Phil, surely, or buy lessons.
Maybe Ben will catch up with her. He'll do it in the spring for her.
Yeah, it was a long time for her to wait. We need, because this is obviously heading to a Louise does something wrong in her car storyline real soon. She'll pass her driving test, and then she'll probably knock someone down.
Oh no, not another one. Not on the same Bender Road
Why?
as everyone else.
No. Why would they make such an emphasis though of her passing her driving test? There's a reason.
Maybe
for
she'll
it.
be really bad at cars, and it will be like Mitchell's are meant to be good at cars.
No, she's got Lisa's genes for her mechanical side. She's not mechanically minded, is she? Really? It's a shame, but like I say, she's making an emphasis. There's an emphasis for a reason about the car thing.
I enjoyed that Phil had a phone call.
Yes,
and Sharon was like, "Who's it from?" Spain. Spain's calling.
Yeah, the whole Spain. It was like Eurovision, wasn't it? This is Spain calling, giving our points for the Eurovision.
Can you imagine if Letitia Dean gave our points for Eurovision? That'd be well good.
Do not tease such a suggestion.
That'd be hilarious.
I'm overwhelmed.
Good, wouldn't it?
I'd love it. She'd have to.
Hi, darling.
Letitia Dean here with the points from the United Kingdom. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah. So Phil got a call from Spain. We still don't know what is going on in Spain. Something's gone wrong or not going to plan.
Some plan. Yeah, some deal that's not going down.
There's a job that Phil needs to do, but it's an easy job. Even Robbie Jackson could do
Even
it.
Robbie Jackson.
Still in India.
He is hiding.
Although he was in a car accident recently. Dean Gaffney, but it didn't make the news. So I couldn't find out what happened.
Oh.
He hasn't tweeted.
Well, probably because he's been in an accident.
I hope he's okay, but there's been no news reported on it.
Oh well, we wish you well, Dean Gaffney, if you're listening.
Yeah, he will be. He's a fan, remember?
Oh yes, he
told
does.
me.
Yeah, he does.
Listening in hospital with his legs up.
Can you imagine he's in the entire bodycast?
He can't get the headphones out. I want to turn this off.
Yeah, what is this rubbish? Turn it off.
So yeah, I'm a bit worried about Dean Gaffney, but no news of him coming back. So we'll see.
Now you've dropped that bombshell. It's probably not for a little while yet.
But yeah, so he says it's a job anyone can do. So Sharon thinks, oh,
out of sight, out of mind, as suggested by the girls.
Another one of the good scenes of the storyline was the 4 characters who don't usually interact that much. We had Honey, Denise, Linda, and Sharon. So yeah, girls' club.
Coming up with a plan for how they can solve
over
Louise's
men.
problem. Get over men in general, just all men.
Denise seems completely over Kush though, doesn't she?
She does. Well, she told a story of how she was dumped by one man, and then the same night she found another one and slept with him. So, loose. And Honey brought up that she used to be a honey trap.
Yeah, right back. Throwback to her first scene.
I know.
For Patrick. That's who she was there for. She was a holy trap for Patrick.
Yes, hence the name.
But that was nice seeing like just the four characters talking and being friendly and stuff. Shame Mel's not involved because she's still quite lonely, Mel.
I mean, Mel's got her own bother to deal with.
I know, but she's so isolated. Like she could have been slotted in there.
I think no, not in this situation, especially this week.
Stressed.
It's really yeah. Which again, keep listening. We'll be talking about them soon.
But they're all talking about how to get over men and do this and how there's like Keanu gets mentioned a few times and Sharon's just sitting there like getting a bit sweaty on her forehead.
Sweaty brow. And she escapes, doesn't she, by saying, I'll just get another bottle of wine, and then she just skulks off without anyone's knowledge. Which Linda took really offensively. She really...
But she knows something's not quite up with her best mate.
Well, yes, Linda discusses about the crush again. So obviously Linda's going to start asking more and more probing questions. I kind of want
Sharon to tell someone now. Like just confined in, like if Michelle was there, she would have by now.
But she probably has with Michelle in Australia.
Screens, it doesn't count. But yeah, like Linda, can she tell? It depends what Linda would feel, because she might compare it to Mick and Whitney and like not like Sharon.
True, wouldn't? Yeah, she'd give her a cautionary tale. I mean, Linda is her second best friend, so
when it suits.
Exactly.
Maybe she can confess in Mel.
Well, she could if Mel's...
Shut up, Sharon, I'm busy. Yeah. That's all she says to everyone.
That's all she says to Billy, isn't it? Billy's so kind to Mel. Anyway, we'll talk about that a bit later, but yeah.
But yeah, I don't know who else she could tell, apart from Linda, but I don't know if Linda would... Because she when she was talking about her crush a few months ago, Linda said, oh, you can look, but don't ever touch. I don't ever like that.
Or window shopping.
Yeah, that's why Sharon then thought, I won't tell you then.
But it keeps getting brought up. Linda obviously knows that this is still an issue for Sharon.
Maybe she could tell Kath. Sharon and Kath could have a little friendship thing.
Tell Kathy? Yeah.
Kathy. She's back. She's got a cafe where all women are welcome to talk their problems, remember? Yeah,
and she came back and the very next day she was working in the cafe. Having chats with Shirley. Shirley's talking about beating up Ben in the square after she killed her best mate, Cheryl. Ev.
But this isn't about Kathy.
No, it's not. Sorry. So Keanu's gone and Sharon's really worried and asks Karen if she's heard anything about Keanu, and Karen lies.
She's always having well of a time. All the women around there loving it. So Sharon's like, she looks really worried. She looks like, oh, that's fine, I'll tell Louise. And she turns around and she's like,
yeah. Time for a glass of wine.
But no, Karen's phoning Keanu's phone. No one's picking up. She hasn't heard from him.
So yes, and she's asked Keegan and she's not heard anything. And Karen's also on to Sharon. She knows that there's still something in the air there between them.
And the dialing tone was a British dialing tone. But I think that's just like a error. I think he is in Spain.
Oh, what, the ringing?
Yeah, I think that's just a...
Oh, I don't know what a Spanish ringtone sounds like.
No, but it's not a international one. But I think that's more of just like a...
That's probably why Karen...
Yeah. Not like he's secretly not in Spain. I don't think that is...
Karen hasn't been putting the international code at the beginning of the number. So she's just phoning a random old man who can't get to the phone in time.
But yeah, so Keanu's off because he's obviously on Panto. He's playing the Beast in Beauty and the Beast.
Or at the time of the filming he was.
So that's why he's now gone. So yeah, we just have Sharon on her own for a bit. So that'd be good.
Stewing in her...
Have all the girls around loads of wine and parties, I think. That's what I can see coming.
Pickled in alcohol. Goodness.
Right, so we are just going to go off, step back in time now, because we've got some classic EastEnders to chat about.
There's a magical mystery tour of the human digestive system in Body Matters in half an hour on BBC One after this evening's episode of EastEnders.
No, I don't know about you, but...
What a week.
What a week in the classic EastEnders. They're obviously back from their summer holidays.
Lots going on. We had an amazing episode where they filmed on location.
The Isle of Dogs and Greenwich. I
Mm.
mean, I was looking for the Millennium Dome. I couldn't find it anywhere, Ben.
Funny that.
Yeah.
All of the girls are out on darts team, so they're doing a rival pub in London. So, Sue's there, Pat's there, Pauline, Dot, Ethel.
Yeah, a few
Kathy.
cheerleaders from the market.
Yeah, Lil and Maureen, the extras. I love them. But yeah, I mean, what a great 2 episodes on location.
Oh, fantastic. And we got to see the legend Mike Reed back.
Frank's first appearance.
Yeah, it was Frank Butcher.
Yeah, because he'd sent like a letter to Pat saying where he'd be and she'd be in the same location. So she tells everyone, I'm going to go to the toilet.
Yeah.
And like disappears for like 8 hours.
5 hours later.
and like 8 hours later, they're at the pub and Pauline's like, oh, we're just waiting for Pat. She's in the toilet. Like, Pauline, have you not twigged yet that maybe she's not in the toilet?
I mean, Pauline was infatuated with her new best friend.
Hunky.
Yeah. He's
This new revelational word that Kathy
Yeah.
learnt from Barry.
Barry says it all the time. Hunky. he was far from hunky. I mean, the definition of the word's obviously changed through time.
Well, Kathy's married to Pete Bill, so he's quite hunky compared to Pete Bill.
Do you think Kathy says to Pete, "Oh, Pete, you're looking hunky," when he puts his cowboy hat on and he had a belt as well this week.
I know.
He had a
It's his
silver
best clothes.
buckle.
He says it's my best clothes. Kath knew I was here.
Yeah, she'd have me.
That last shot, it's a completely different storyline, but the last shot when Kathy came into the Vic and caught Pete gambling.
With
and
Colin.
she was there, like, twiddling the keys
keys.
round. That's hilarious. But yeah, this Isle of Dog episode was amazing because you had so many things going on. You had Kath and Sue looking at posh apartments and Sue realising, you know, it'd be great to live in this nice place, but you can't bring your friends with you.
Yes, there's no
No,
community.
you can't, mate. I love when Kath says mate. And yeah, like you said, Pauline is getting flirted by this guy who seems to be quite interested in her. He's obviously actually turned up in Albert Square as well.
Yeah, met Arthur. He's put himself upon them a little bit, hasn't he?
Arthur wants him out.
Yeah.
He just took his tea off it.
Well, it's coffee, yeah. He's just took his saucer and said, "The door's that way. Get out."
So yeah, Pauline's liking that because it's probably like the first bit of attention Pauline's ever had because she's quite down on herself, isn't she, Pauline? Bless her.
Yeah, but I mean, Arthur does. You can tell Arthur loves Pauline. It's just that he doesn't show it all the time.
I think it's just a bit of...
It's nice to get attention.
Yeah, I think
isn't
that's
it?
how Pauline sees it. She sees it as, wow, someone's paying me attention.
Yeah.
This is not good. So that's really nice. And Ethel and Dot would have their day out as well on the picnic. Which
Well,
was amazing.
Ethel was having a whale of a time. She had a bit too much to drink. She wanted an ice cream with 2 flakes, which I can't blame her. You know.
Yeah, Dot kept like telling her off for being immature for wanting ice cream as well.
Well, yeah, but Dot does apologise to her afterwards and says, "I'm really sorry. You're quite right. We should be enjoying ourselves." And then Dot does enjoy herself because Pat brings along a bag of oranges, but doesn't tell anyone that she's laced the oranges with vodka.
Yeah.
And Dot's just
Takes the whole bag.
Dot eats the whole bag of oranges and is just in this stupor in the pub. It's a really smoky pub. Oh, like, my goodness, they were the old days, weren't
That
they?
was a real pub, wasn't
A
it?
real cloud of smoke where everyone was obviously having a good old puff of their cigarettes as they were drinking.
And they won the match, so that's all that matters.
They did their first game. They've won their friendly and they've won their official match now. So yeah, and Den is very happy that they're doing so well. The Queen Vic dart team is doing so very well.
And it was really great to see Frank as well. Like instantly, you think, yeah, that's an iconic character straight away. Don't you?
Yeah, he's just great. I love Frank. I've always loved Frank, and yeah, I'm so glad. But now we have to wait a little bit longer now for his true introduction.
Yeah, a few more months.
I'm really looking forward to the wedding of Pat and Frank because I've seen lots of clips.
It's right
of
old
it.
knees up.
It is. It's a proper London knees up.
Cockney knees
East
up.
End knees up.
We had a character leave, an original character, Calvin.
Yes.
Which was quite a strange end for him. He kind of just left.
I see. I kind of thought it suited him because he doesn't like fuss. So even though they organised this party for him and Colin had made this really cool futuristic computer-like banner, which Sharon said, I tried doing something like that. Doesn't work out quite as well.
Can't get the space is the same.
My space is on the same. I mean, Sharon really is showing that she's a jack of all trades, isn't she? Estate agent, retail manager, pub assistant. Yeah, she can do
Graphic
it all.
design.
Wife to fill.
But yeah, Calvin he doesn't go to the party. He leaves a note for Carmel and just says, thanks everyone, but I'll see them like in the summer or whatever.
Norwich, isn't he? He's gone to the university in Norwich.
He's just gone to university, but he never appears again, ever.
But this is what surprised me, because about 3 or 4 times it was mentioned that he would return for big events, special events. So you thought that they obviously had him returning in mind.
It is strange. It is a strange one, because even like 2 years ago they mentioned him about 3 or 4 times, and they always, like, if someone dies, they always go, oh, there's flowers from Calvin and his dad. Yeah, like they always bring him up, but then he never returns. It's really weird.
They might get a mention again at the funeral of Dr. Legg
yeah.
next week. They celebrated him leaving by just reminding us of the glory days of the band.
It's good. I like that reference because they were ashamed of it, but they still showed it, so it's good.
Do you reckon they'd have that as Dr. Legg's funeral? You could have Sharon walking through doing like a slow version of something out of nothing.
Sharon's like, I've got something planned. I don't want to tell anyone. And she turns up and all the bands are there.
Confetti guns.
They do like an a cappella version.
Yeah. Gonna make something and a nothing.
That'd be good. We've also got a gambling again. The men.
Yeah,
So we've had the women's storyline of darts. We've now got the men's storyline.
Well, while the cat's away, the mice do play.
Pete's well away. I think he's so clever to go behind Kathy's back because he's got not much money because his stall ain't doing too well.
It isn't. So his answer is gambling.
Yeah, Lou won't let him expand.
No, he wants to do the fish. He's explained to her, well, I'm not changing the stall. We're adding more to the stall. So, you know, when you buy your fruit and veg, what's the first thing you immediately think of? Seafood.
Fish.
Yeah. So...
But she says, I haven't forgiven you. And then he gives her some brandy. And she goes, I've forgiven you.
Well, Lou's got a really suspicious drinking habit recently.
Medicinal. The doctor told her, she said.
Yeah, but she's hiding it from Pauline. When she poured herself and Ethel a drink, as soon as Pauline walked through the door, she quickly downed it, literally necked it, and then put it in her bag. It was like, oh, I just got Ethel a quick drink. And Ethel was like, oh, hang on. So yeah, there's
I love them. I love Ethel and Lou.
So do I. I just love the way they throw insults at each other, but they just take it.
But they're friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's amazing. But yeah, they're doing gambling, and Kathy don't want Peter to do it because they ain't got much money. But she does catch them in the end because Ange helps. She gives her a set of keys to the Vic, and her and Colin bust in on their poker game.
But they took their wallets out of their pockets before they went and arrived for the poker game, and so that's why, as you were saying earlier,
and
Kathy
Pete's in full cowboy outfit.
Yeah.
Even Lou made a remark saying how stupid he looked.
Yeah.
Again, he's made like 3 remarks now.
Didn't he have a jacket as well with like tassels down the arm?
Yeah. It's his best gear, he said. It's his only good outfit.
It's all we can afford now with the fruit and veg store. I mean, talking about needing the money, who is going to get their baby back?
Well, her mum won't give it back.
But she's tried it through the social care and
yelled at everyone.
Basically screamed her way of getting the way she wants.
Carmel's like, I've worked 3 nights for free to just build up a case for you. You don't want to get my money back. You don't love me. Like, for God's sake,
get
Mary.
my flat.
Oh.
She's got a new boyfriend, Rod, though, and Rod's kind of her conscience.
He's getting bored of her. You can tell he keeps looking at other people. He's looking at Donna behind the bar, the new girl. Who's been everywhere. That's true.
Well, yes, let's talk about Donna Ludlow.
I've lived in Canada and Australia and New York.
Full driving. Well, yeah, when she went to apply for the job at the shop, Neymar had no intention of giving her the job because she couldn't get any references or any information of her past. As soon as she said, I've got a driving license, that'd be useful. Yeah. Have a job.
Yeah, she's a suspicious character. I mean, no one really knows much about her at the moment. So she
keeps her stories keep expanding. Like she's lived in Australia and Canada and has lived over there. And so there's something suspicious about her. And unless you know what it is already,
we won't be saying.
No, we're keeping that to ourselves.
But very interesting. And Kathy's had a call from the Samaritans, and she thinks it's someone she knows.
Yes,
she can't work out who it is. It's not Mary.
Well, no, yes, because she asked Mary
tells her
straight out.
It's not me.
What do you mean?
Just leave me alone.
I reckon it's Michelle. That's my guess.
No, she hasn't been on screen for a while.
She hasn't been on screen for a while, and she's really showing strain.
Yeah.
Signs
Poor
of strain.
Lofty. We also had a football match, which was exciting to watch because their short shorts were hilarious.
Well, it's 80s, wasn't it? It was proper 80s football fashion.
Yeah, it was a dirty match.
It was a really dirty
match. The ref was awful.
Well, he
like hated Den, but then didn't see Den. It was really weird.
And then got the Dagmar team all suspended, so it literally just ended up being the Queen Vic on the pitch.
Yeah, it was stupid. But that was nice seeing them in their shorty shorts. Bit of fun.
Wilmot Brown wasn't very happy though. He felt like he was cheated. I mean, he's getting really snobby as well. I'm getting a bit wound up. Like every time anyone walks through the door, he's like, "They're not the kind of clientele I want in this place."
Showing his true colours.
Yeah.
I mean, there's signs you can tell it's summer in 87 EastEnders because Carmel's walking around with her sunglasses on all the time.
Oh yeah.
Simon Wicks is walking around with his shirt.
His shirt off at one point.
Yeah. And Sharon's got a real big suntan.
She has.
So they're the 3 signs you can tell it's summer in Wolford.
Well, don't forget she had just been away on an educational with her.
Yes.
So I think that's the classic all wrapped up.
It is very exciting and funny.
Yeah.
And Simon was walking around with his shirt off. So
what more can you ask for?
We're glad you could join us, and we hope we'll meet up again tomorrow. But for now, this is Malcolm Einan wishing you a very good night on behalf of everybody here at the Television Centre.
Right, so we're going to visit the young love of the square. Ruby and Jay, who are all happy. Martin Stacey, who are married, not happy.
Not happy. It's a real eye opener for marriage, isn't it?
It is. Don't do it. Don't do it, kids.
Yeah, keep away from that idea.
But so Ruby and Jay slept together, which we know about. She wakes up to find out that he's not there.
No, just vanished.
So she's very angry.
Super angry. I mean, she is a woman that has been hurt quite badly.
If only she looked in my fridge.
Well, like you would, maybe, if you were making a cup of tea or doing anything that you normally do in the morning. I mean, that was a little far-fetched, I thought.
Yeah, because especially when he said to her, "Oh, I had to leave for work really in a big rush. That's why I left the note." But then he was sat in the cafe like having breakfast.
Yeah, talking to Keanu, telling Keanu exactly the ins and outs of what he'd done that night before, twice.
Everyone does it twice.
I think it's quite a boast, isn't it? It's like, yeah, twice. Jay also had mentioned that a kind of WhatsApp reference saying, "Oh, I just want to get the 2 blue ticks." So couldn't he just message Ruby and said, "See you later tonight"? Why did he left it all?
Maybe he was trying to be cute and romantic doing that. He's seen it on Sex and the City before. So he thought, I'll write a note on a post-it.
Yeah, but Jay should know better than that. But yeah, and it's not the 90s.
Yeah, they're happy. They're doing well. Stacey's been really horrible to Martin, like, for no reason, it seems. Like, they're really hamming that storyline up. Like, like she's been... I know Stacey's a bit of a trout mouth, but she's been really horrible to him for, like, he's just standing there eating cornflakes and she's shouting at him for no reason.
Yeah, and even like Kath and Jean are like telling her that, you know, you're being a bit over the top, being a bit harsh. And when Stacey comes and talks to Ruby later on, when Ruby goes and confides in Stacey about Jay, and she says, "Oh, Mum, can we have the kitchen?" And Jean's quite openly like, "Oh yes, Stacey, anything for you, Stacey." So even the family are noticing that Stacey's being a bit of a bossy push around. She's being a bit miserable.
Yeah, but Ruby thinks she'll help by inviting them on a double date with her and Jay.
Yes, but
because they're down.
Well, she gives a different excuse for why she's done it to each one. So to Jay, she says because it's Stacey and Martin need a bit more of a pick me up rather than a Minute Mark sandwich on Arthur's bench. And to Stacey, she says that she's doing it because she doesn't quite feel safe enough to just go on a one-to-one date with
her confidence
Jay.
Is very low.
She wants to keep it light.
Ruby Slipper Promotions gets some work finally.
A real boost on a coincidence that they just happened to be sat next to some loudmouth shouting about it.
Did you notice this extra was the same extra that Mo tried to get money from outside Wolford East?
I didn't.
Wow. We know what you asked for a few months ago.
I did.
You wanted a little mini storyline in the background of an extra walking from one place to another.
I mean, it wasn't to the same scale as what I mentioned about a month ago. No, hands up. Yes, I admire that.
John Sen's listening.
Do you So he was the one who gave him like a tenner and all that money.
He's the one who said no, and walked off.
Oh, so he's the nasty one. A bit of it.
It was him, and he was then the one who was then in the restaurant.
Justin, we should use his name. Justin,
moaning that his. What does Ruby do? Like event.
She does events promotion. Yeah.
He's lost his events manager, and they're all like, "Ruby, go on, Miss Confident Ruby." She's like, "No.
No, I can't.
Ruby Slippers Productions. It's closed down."
Lucky she had her entourage with her, so Jay, Stacey, and Martin were all bigging her up. While this guy was like, "All right, then give me your card." But Ruby still doesn't have quite the confidence, and so the next day she kind of builds herself up to making the phone call.
They keep showing her standing in front of a mirror, dressing herself and like not looking confident. They keep showing that. But she goes to meet him, and he's a bit arrogant. Yeah,
and she thinks that he didn't really listen to her ideas, and but this is what young people are like. Ruby should know this, you know. This is the business of, you know, giving an idea and throwing it out.
But she got the job.
She did get the job, and Jay congratulated her after he got snubbed by Ruby earlier in the week because all he did was see her to the door. He's like, "What are you doing? You're not coming in. Just leave me alone," and then slammed the door, and then instantly regretted it when she was stood behind the door afterward.
But I like this. I didn't think I'd ever be saying this, but I'm liking the Ruby storyline.
I like the Jay and Ruby story. I think they are a good match.
But I'm worried because Lola's coming in, and I just know that they're going to get Jay and Lola together.
I think it would be a mistake to do that, though, because Ruby, as a character, needs to be built up. And the only way she can do that is with other characters helping her. And if they were to take Jay away, it's a bit like, which we'll maybe talk about a bit later. Exactly. It's a bit like Mel. When they take away the one thing that's kind of keeping her on there, what's she really got left? And with the Jay storyline, because they seem to be really hushing the consent storyline a lot now. I can't
Yeah,
see them ever.
seems to...
It doesn't seem right that they're going to come back to it like as a long-term, big
is
story.
the court case just going to happen off screen or something? Maybe. Don't know. But yeah, we will see. Young romance, and obviously they're building up to maybe Stacey and Martin breaking up. I'm assuming.
Yeah, well,
but I don't know. I don't want them to, because that means Max is then free to pounce.
And Martin could maybe see Hayley.
No. Or Bev.
Yeah, or Mo.
Speaking of Mo, she had a storyline this week, which was good.
She did.
All the Slaters were getting mini storylines. There's horrible signs of Jean being ill, which I don't like already.
I know. Well, because she goes on a date with Ian, and Ian says that she's got the menopause.
Yes.
In no uncertain terms. It's the menopause, Jean. Just get over it.
That storyline's over. Them dating.
Yes.
That was just that.
Well, it was forgotten for like 2-3 weeks, and then Jean said she kind of waved at Ian over the square, and he ignored her, and then she basically, it all ended with her saying, "Oh, you're not my type anyway," and throwing a glass of red wine. And for good measure, Kat was like, "Oh, there's another glass there," and just threw it on him as well. No reason, just did it.
Well, people like doing that to Ian, don't they?
Yeah, why?
But yeah, she's showing signs of like pain and stuff, and she keeps, like when she was cleaning E20, she was in pain.
She really needed the toilet a lot as well. She kept complaining that she needed the toilet.
So yeah, I don't like it. It's just horrible already, because you know what it is.
I know, but as I said, this is a great story, and I'm so pleased that they've given Jean this good big story.
It's not fair on anyone, but it just seems so unfair to do it to Jean, because she's such like a lovely character.
But it also means that the introduction of Sean is imminent, so that's good. True. That's always rough with the smooth. And
yeah, Big Mo is trying to help Kat, because Kat's got bags under her eyes.
Yeah, Kat's not
tired.
Coping very well with looking after Cherry and her 3 kids. I mean, I don't really understand. I suppose Cherry is a baby, so it kind of pushes it over a little bit.
Doesn't really sit well with me. It's like there's so many people in this house, 11 adults. Surely, like last week, they were all saying to Hayley, "We'll all gather round, we'll all help, we'll all support, we'll do this, this, and that. You get all the help you need." And then what? Kat's just left to do it.
Yeah, she's been left to do it on her own, hasn't she?
Really strange.
I suppose Mo has offered to help, but then Mo, as always, has messed it up, because she offered to look after Tommy, then kept Tommy off school, painted him in Halloween makeup, and
pretended he was ill,
and pretended he was ill to get money, and
left him on his own.
Left him outside the shop, and then he said, "Oh, hi, Mum. I didn't go to school today. I was with Nan. We were, doing this." And
it's funny that Kat wasn't more like angry about Tommy being left on his own, seeing as Tommy was the one that Ronnie and like the baby swap thing.
I thought that too.
Yeah, she was a bit like casual.
Yeah, I mean,
but she like hates Mo now. It's really weird.
If you listen to the feature earlier on the show, obviously we talk a lot about the baby swap story, and yeah, knowing what we know about the baby swap story, everything to do with Tommy now just doesn't seem to make sense. Like you think Kat would be really super protective.
Yeah. I don't know. The exact thing happened. They thought he'd like gone missing outside the minute mark. Like they pretended that they thought he did, but still.
There wasn't much concern for his safety.
Big Mo was concerned, like genuinely.
She makes an excuse saying, "Oh, I went to pick up Tommy, but he wasn't at the school." And then when they said to Mo that they knew what had happened, Mo immediately said, "Well, you think it's my fault, but it's not." And so she's really quick to like not take blame for it, which is another reason why they all got very upset, and they were even threatening to chuck her out.
Well, I think they are going to. It seems a bit silly, because Hayley's done a lot worse, and they're all welcoming her with open arms.
Yeah.
She nearly murdered Alfie.
I mean, we did 2 weeks ago. Mo did proudly say that she doesn't have mental illnesses because she just doesn't let things worry her. So I suppose Hayley's a bit more of a sensitive sort rather than Mo. Mo can handle herself. She knows how to turn on the waterworks when she needs to.
Yeah, she'll be out on her own soon.
Well, she may have to, because Kat goes and visits Hayley. And as good as encourages her to come back.
I know.
A week of treatment,
so
all
stupid.
Fixed, solved, problem done.
Hayley's like, "I'm doing really well, but I need a bit more time." And Kat's like, "No, you need to come back. I can't cope."
Yeah, I don't want to look after your child anymore.
Kat was the one who talked to her a few weeks ago to tell her to go in. So that's stupid.
It was a bit, again, silly. And also it really annoys me, because mental health should be handled so sensitively. And they made, as you said, such a big deal of Hayley going in to get help. So as a kind of responsible program maker, perhaps
they should just keep her in there. Because if she comes out and like everything's magically fine early, that doesn't really make sense.
No, it doesn't.
Or the other option is that she isn't okay, but then you're just going round in the same storyline again.
I mean, to use the reason you're a Slater, you bend, you don't break. That's really silly, and it doesn't really play well in my head.
It's silly. It doesn't make complete sense. She has £50,000. Get a babysitter for a few weeks.
Well, this is it. What's she doing with that money? It's kind of
keeping it by, isn't she? For something. I don't know.
I mean, this is something else.
It's Phil's money. She's not going to spend it.
But Phil doesn't seem to give her monkeys.
Well, that's true.
2 weeks ago, he was screaming that he wants the money back, and now it's just forgotten. Well, he's off to see the whole of Spain. So I don't know.
Yeah, she's keeping it for Alfie, who's gone missing. In
AWOL,
action, I'm afraid.
So, yeah.
But yeah, I want a few more weeks of no Hayley, I think.
Yeah, I don't think I mean, it gave the inclination that she was coming back, but I don't think she will. I think they will be better than that, or at least if she does come back, they'll notice that she's still not okay, and so then goes back again. So again, as you say, the carousel. You jump on, get the same story, and then jump back off again. We'll see.
Yeah, that's right. So right, we're going to pop over to play a special game, I think, isn't it?
Exciting times are ahead, Ben. For we're playing a special game this week to celebrate the return of Kathy Veal.
Her new blue coat.
In her new blue coat. And it is called Kath's Man Who. So basically, these are the rules of the game. I'm going to play you sound clips that you're going to choose from random, and you've got to tell me who the sound clip is of, and in what situation was the sound clip taken from.
God.
So what scene was it taken from?
Right.
And the clue is in the title of the game, Kath Man's Who, because it's someone linked to Kathy. So it could be a past husband, a family member, not a friend. So does that all make sense?
Yes.
So there are 8 clips for you to choose from.
30 years of history here.
There's so much history. To choose just 8 was hard, but we found 8.
Right.
And I want you to pick a number between 1 and 8.
3.
Here comes clip number 3.
I thought you'd go looking for him. I didn't know he was going to be there all night.
Who was that? Who was that talking?
That was one of the Ben Mitchells.
It was the Stella era.
Yeah, the
Ben
Burning
Mitchell.
Spoon Ben Mitchell.
Yeah, and do you know what the scene
situation?
was? What situation was he into?
Is it when he'd pushed that boy into a pit?
Yes, he was being questioned by Lucas about what exactly happened that day when he said, "You need smacking down." So yes, well done, 2 points.
Oh, so he wasn't talking to Kathy in this game. It's just people who are related to Kathy talking in any. So it could be any situation throughout the whole history of EastEnders. Okay.
You do a podcast about EastEnders. You should know these things.
I've got 1 point.
You've got 2 points. 2 points. Well done.
Okay.
Right, you've had number 3. Another clip between 1 and 8. Not 3 though.
5.
Oh no! Oh, this is a good one. Number 5. Okay, here is clip number 5.
Well, you want to sleep? Come just get another pipe together, will ya?
That's Phil Mitchell.
Yes, well done.
Yes,
1 point.
Ex-husband.
Exactly. And with whom was he wanting to get another pipe together?
Was this when he was having drugs with Rainey?
There you go. It was when he turned his house into a crack den, and he slept with her as well. And Shirley walked in because Rainey saved his life from he thought he was having a heart attack from too much crack. There you go, with another 2 points. So 4 out of 4, you're doing all right. Another number between 1 and 8, please.
1.
Here is your next sound clip. Who is it, and in what situation was it in?
Man, dirty lying slag. He was having my wife.
So there was a clue in the clip.
Was it?
What do you mean? What do you mean? That was me, was it?
Dirty slag. That was the late great Pete Bill.
It certainly was, and a bit trickier. What was he? Who was he talking to? What was it about?
Oh, it could be so many things with Pete 'cause he's so derogatory. Talking about how Kathy was having an affair with Wilmot Brown to someone. I don't know.
No, sadly,
could be anything.
No, it wasn't. He was talking to his brother, the one who moved to New Zealand.
Oh right.
About him sleeping with Pat and Simon being born.
Right.
So Simon not being his son. Kenny.
Talking to Kenny.
Talking to Kenny.
Oh,
yeah.
Spoiler.
Yes, anyone Classic EastEnders fans out there, sorry, just spoiled that. Right, another clip between 1 and 8.
I should have known because that's what he calls Pat a lot.
A slag. He calls everyone a slag.
Or a cow Pat.
He called his own son a slag, didn't he, at one point? You got 2, 4, 6, 7 or 8?
8.
Oh, going right to the end, okay. So here we go. Here is clip number 8.
What? Don't. No, just what is it? What is it?
Who was it and what was the scene?
Who was it in? Who was it? Related to Kathy. One of Kathy's brothers. I don't know.
Peter Bill.
Oh, him.
Okay, can you guess the scene it was in?
Finding out that Lucy's dead.
Yeah, he found out Lucy had died. Ian took him out to the pub of the Vic where he was having a night out with his friends, and Ian crumbled and told him that Lucy was died. She died. She's gone.
Oh.
Very sad scene, actually. And another very sad scene is Peter's speech at the funeral of Lucy's funeral. It's really sad. Almost used that clip, but then thought it was a bit too dark. One more clip, I think. So you've got one more go. You've got
2.
You want number 2?
Yep.
This is a good one. You're finishing on a high. Here we go then. Number 2, the final clip.
I haven't got any here.
What?
Do you want to hear it again?
Please.
Okay.
I haven't got any here.
It sounds like Heather, but it's not Heather.
No, it's
Is
not
it Ian?
Heather. It's Ian Bill. What's happening for him to have that whiny voice?
Can't be Lucy again. He's found out Kathy's died.
No, he hasn't. He was begging Phil not to flush his head down the toilet because he had dobbed Phil in. Yeah, he dobbed Phil into the police. And later on, Phil sees the picture of Bobby on the fridge, and it's just before Bobby gets introduced.
Why did none of these clips involve a Kathy storyline?
Because a lot of these clips is when Kathy was dead, so it was difficult to get them. But obviously there's 3 clips that you didn't choose.
Yes.
So I am going to play them now to our listeners, and it's a little game for you guys out there. If you can give us it's just for fun. I'm afraid you're not going to win any prizes, but if you could email us or tweet us the answers to these 3 clips of who the clip is of and what scene was it based on. Here's clip A.
I had a child once. Never really had the paternal instinct. Hello, princess.
I know who that is.
Yeah, don't give it away. Don't give it away. Here is clip B.
You can't tell me what to do. I ain't even my real mum.
I know who that is.
You should have chosen these ones, shouldn't you? And here is the final clip. Clip C.
You can help me. Well, someone must have been your first. I want mine to be you.
Okay.
So that was funny.
There we go. So they're the 3 clips, A, B and C. Send us your answers to eastendersweekly@gmail.com or tweet us at EastEndersWeek or go to our Facebook group, and anyone who gets the right answer, we'll shout out their name next week. So it's just for fun. There's no prize attached to this.
No. It's just a welcome back, Kathy.
It is.
Oh, mate.
Oh, mate.
Right, mate.
What do you mean, Kathy? Kathy's back. And that was Kathman's Who.
Well, I hope you all enjoyed that.
I did.
There won't be another one of them for a while.
There won't be another one of them ever, because that's
Kathy
all.
Kathy might go missing again for a holiday.
Well, no, she needs to know 8 more men, like family. Well, that's true. Yeah, I didn't do one for Masood.
There you go. See.
There we go. 1 already.
Right. So we're gonna go over Mel's storyline with Hunter, with his ongoing scaring his mum, turning into a bit Bates Motel-y.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about Mel being a very film noirish kind of filming before, where she walked in with the knife behind her back and like the long shadows, and it's still, they seem to be carrying on with this kind of Amityville horror style murder scenes and darkness.
She's just getting very worried about Hunter being a bit, now he's killed someone, he's very cocky, he's standing up to Phil.
Yes, he said you killed my dad.
She's hiding every knife in the house, which was weird.
She's locking him in the house as well, so he can't get out of the house on his own.
I mean, what did she think, getting rid of every knife in the house? Did she not think he would notice?
Well, he wanted to cut the cheese.
He wanted to make his lunch.
Yeah.
So that was
give him a little white plastic knife.
A bit over the top. Well, I'm still questioning about Mel's vintage car. We don't really know what happened to that. She crashed it into a tree next to the body.
Yeah, no, I know.
So
because you thought that Phil had mentioned something about it, and then he
didn't. I've rewatched it.
No, exactly.
But it was outside her house like the other week, the red car. Unless it was another vintage red car on Albert Square.
I don't remember seeing that.
It's not been mentioned. It's really odd. So that's strange.
Yeah, no, really, really peculiar.
Yeah. The police are around again as well, questioning.
But the police are around again because Maddie made a complaint against Hunter for threatening her, and so they were investigating that. But at the same time, they kind of wanted to carry on asking questions.
Yes.
I mean, they've obviously not discovered. By my own admission, it looked like when they did the scenes with Ray and Mel, they weren't that deep into the forest, especially since they drove a car into it. You can't really go that deep into the forest. So it amazed me that the police haven't discovered anything.
Wow.
At all.
They will next week.
Well, until the end of the episode.
It's a popular dog walking destination, don't you know?
Well, again, right in the middle of the night, the dog seemed to be on his own. Did the dog escape?
I know, it's weird, wasn't it?
It was
It's an
really
Alsatian
odd.
police dog.
Was it an Alsatian?
Is it Wallard?
Yeah, it was Alsatian. Yeah, you're right, because I thought it might have been Wellard. Maybe Robbie. Maybe this is Robbie's return. Robbie will return.
Taking Wellard for a midnight walk.
Didn't want to come straight to the square.
But yeah, Mel's desperate. She's trying to sell her bit to the club at cheapest rate going.
Well, she doesn't want to sell it for cheapest rate. It's just that
No.
Phil's negotiated.
Yeah.
He said to Sharon, "It's like, oh, you can get a bargain here."
So she's desperately trying to get that. She's trying to pack everything up quickly and move away. Hunter doesn't want to move away, so she lies and says, "No, we can come back." And
Well,
all
she's
that
also
stuff.
been crushing diazepam into his hot chocolate drink.
Oh yeah, she's drugging him now.
She's drugging him all the time. He's literally a zombie walking around the house.
I know, it's not going to end well. She knows she's messed up here.
Well, yeah, she keeps going round and round in circles. At the beginning of the week, she was all ready to go to the police, and even Hunter was almost on board with it. But then something changed in her again, and she just spiraled.
No, she doesn't want to lose him, but she's already lost him, I'm afraid.
Well, she's lost him, basically as a son, because he will never, ever be the same Hunter. But then we always knew Hunter was a little bit cuckoo. He was always a dangerous character. I mean, it's a shame, really, that Hunter's leaving, because he would be a really interesting kind of character if they were to build
do a bit
on
more
it.
with. It's funny that the reason they give that he's leaving is because they feel they've done everything they can with him. And it's like, really? Like Steve Owen's son, that's all you can do is 8 months worth.
No, I agree.
It's a bit fishy. But there's, if he, we don't know what happens to him, but if he goes to prison, there's always a chance for him to come back in a few years.
It's true, it's a year or two. Because he's still he's 15, isn't he? He still goes to school. He's either 15 or 16.
He's a year younger than Louise, isn't he? I think.
Oh, so maybe
Something
16
like that.
then. So so he'll be trialled as a juvenile. So, I mean, there's every chance he'll come out new face, new actor.
No, he can come back. Charlie Winters. He looks so much like Steve Owen, though, doesn't he?
I mean, the casting was uncanny.
Yeah,
but
so no, he's not that bad. He does some.
I like Charlie Winters.
Decent performances when he tries.
Honestly, I know a lot of people have issues with him, but I genuinely thought he's been pretty solid throughout. He's kind of phoned it in recently, but I think that's because
there's a few bits, but
yeah,
script. You can only work with so much.
So anyway, so a dog has discovered Ray, or we presume he's discovered Ray.
So he's definitely dead.
Yeah, which is a shame. I said to you when the dog came on screen, I said, "Oh my god, he's going to come out the ground."
Yeah, again for the third time,
but no, sadly not.
Yeah, so that's exciting. The body's been found, so obviously the police are going to get involved
without the bullet because Hunter's prized it out of his body.
And that's disgusting.
This is what I mean. Such an interesting character,
and he says it's not disgusting, Mum. It's just a dead body. It's like
cold. 80%
more of an ice queen than his mum.
He really is. They could be a good duo. Oh, they've never done anything like that before.
Bates Motel. That's what they could do, couldn't they?
Yeah. A mother and son who murder. Oh my goodness.
Mel might be pushed over the edge.
I mean, that would be a really intriguing story.
We've still got our fingers crossed for him killing Jack before he leaves, so...
Maybe. Well, yeah, Jack would be the first victim. They could buy the B&B.
Would be like Bates Motel.
Yeah, it'd be like Bates Motel.
That really is copy and paste. Right, so we are now on to Who Won the Week.
You know me, I ain't one to gossip.
So, as always, at the end of each week, we put up a poll on Twitter, our Facebook, and our Instagram accounts, and we ask you who you thought had won the week based on the character and the storylines. And as we do every week, we ask Ben to find 3 stories that have happened this time
last year,
a few years in the past. And this time you asked actually our Facebook group for suggestions.
We did. All of these 3 are the 3 first suggestions that came up. So if you want to get them, go on our Facebook group and you can suggest the year, and then we will then do the year for you. So the first one we had suggested was 1993. So it's the 4th of Feb 1993, and it's the court case for Pat Butcher because she's run over that girl.
Oh, yes.
She's very worried about it all. She's very upset. Frank's upset. Pat's not been the same. And after the court case, the mother of the girl that Pat died turns up at her house.
And doesn't she say that she wished that Pat was the one who died and not her daughter?
Pat wishes she died.
Oh, okay.
And the woman, and she says, I don't know why I've really come here. It kind of reminded me of the Carmel and that weird mum, the guy,
the knife crime
boy
story.
who killed Shaquille, the mum, and like Carmel had like that weird relationship. It was kind of like that, but in the end, she said she couldn't forgive Pat. But I mean, it was a very good episode. It was really good. She couldn't ever forgive Pat for doing it.
I mean, it was like I say, the butchers have all run someone down. Frank,
family
Pat,
trait.
Yeah, and Janine. They've all hit someone with the car.
So the next suggestion for the year was the year 2000. So this is
millennium.
This is the 8th of February 2000, and Sonia is being bullied at school.
I can't believe it.
It's very similar to the Bex, Louise, and Madison storyline because Janine is the bully.
Oh no!
And it's one of the DeMarco's daughters. I don't know what her name is. But she's like friends with Sonia, but Janine and like two other bullies are also friends with this girl, and the girl like ditches Sonia to then hang out with them.
Oh, so it is exactly like...
So it's very, very similar. So that could have been something that Sonia could have helped Bex out with.
Well, exactly. She could have reflected onto it. Again, not used the past.
And Sonia also has a pen pal in Italy who she fancies. But she can't write Italian very well. So Janine offers to help.
Janine?
And also Roy has bought a dodgy car. And Phil warns him. And he says, no, I know all about cars. It's all right. It's all good. But then he gets arrested.
Boy, was
and
he
it
wrong.
was a dodgy car.
Oh, wow. Was it two cars like welded together or something?
It was, I don't know, he got Ricky to check it, and Ricky said it was fine, but apparently it was stolen.
No, I wouldn't trust
stupid.
Ricky.
And the last one was 2012, which is the 6th Feb, where Dot's sister, Rose, doesn't want Heather dating her son, Andrew, and she's trying to bully Heather and tell her that she's nothing and she's not good enough for her son. And this is the first time Heather ever stands up to a bully, because she's been bullied before, but she's never had anything to fight for. But now she does. And she shuts down Rose. Dot shuts down Rose. And Cora's had a blow dry.
Yes, you showed me the screenshot of Cora's hair. I mean, that wasn't even fashionable when it was fashionable, to be fair.
But yeah, so Heather's standing up for herself for the first time ever with Andrew.
If I remember, I'll post that picture of Cora's hairstyle on Twitter for everyone to enjoy.
So yeah, that was what happened last year, and they were all suggestions by our listeners. So
yes, on our Facebook
suggest some
group.
years to us, and we'll find the episodes to watch.
Yeah, come join our Facebook group, because we do lots of interaction where we ask you for ideas for the show on the group. Just go on Facebook and look for EastEnders Weekly Podcast. Now, who won the week this week? It was between Kathy, Mel, Ruby, and Keanu, and our listeners suggested Mo and Bobby. Yes, Bobby got a mention.
Off-screen mention.
Yeah. So there we go. So
well, I want Simon Wicks then.
I mean, they have to somehow be related to the... I mean, Lou could have maybe got... we should have
won
Lou.
the week.
Oh, idiots we are. So who do you believe out of those 6?
Kathy. It has to be Kathy. Come on.
It was Kathy,
Oh,
yeah.
good.
She won the vote. She got 30% of the vote. I mean, she didn't win it with a landslide, though. Ruby came second... with 26%. Keanu came third with 22%. And then it was Mel, Mo, and Bobby in that order, going descending order. I mean, Bobby's not a surprising one. One person mentioned it.
Poor Mo.
He wasn't even in it.
He's not having a good week, is she?
Mo got 3 votes. I mean, that's a winner for me. Got a few comments, again, from our Facebook group. Marie Monaghan, hope I said that right, said, it's a wee shame for Keanu. I won't put on an accent because I can't do accents. I can only do Pete, Bill, and Mary. Tamara Salter says Sharon's facial expressions were fabulous. So I agree. And Hugh Thomas said Phil, because he enjoyed the masturbation joke that Phil had said when Sharon said she had a headache. And she said, I'll sort myself out. And he said, yeah, you and me both. So again, thank you for the comments. As I say, you can find our polls every week on Twitter, which is at EastEnders Week, on Instagram, which is at EastEnders Weekly Podcast, or our Facebook group. Just come and join us. It's EastEnders Weekly Podcast on Facebook.
Yeah. We just got a few comments about this week's show. So Rob Innes says, so let me get this straight. The Slaters spend months, literally months, insisting to Hayley that she needs help and that she needs to get herself sorted. And then they're all in it together. Yet now, Kath is apparently looking after Cherry on her own and is begging Hayley to come back clearly before she's ready.
Well, as we chatted about that, it was mad.
And Vicky Chaffee says, I love your podcast. Heart.
Thank you very much.
And that's all she said. No.
Oh, is that?
She said, I really like seeing Jay with Ruby this week. Kat passing her CAP exam and Ian Bill getting wine in the face. I dislike Louise even more. she's even more bratty than usual because of her heartbreak.
But as I said, it was explained a bit better while Louise was being a bit bratty. But and we forgot to mention Kat passed her test, so congratulations, Kat.
Yeah.
Takes people 3 years, Kat 6 months.
Slaters don't break.
That's true.
And Caddy ST Lover says, I can't imagine there's anything left for Mel after this storyline is over. A romance with Jack, ZZZ. Surely she should be written out with Hunter. So yeah, she's a bit of a lone wolf, Mel, isn't
Yeah, but
she?
so's Jack. Jack just kind of plods himself into stories.
When I was watching some of those clips from 1993 or the 2001, Mel had loads of friends. She was having a girls' party. Natalie was there, Lisa was there. There was this weird woman with this 90s haircut. She had loads of friends around her.
Weird woman with 90s
She was weird. So yeah, Mel did used to have lots of friends.
But they've deliberately isolated Mel, though. Even at her wedding, there was barely 20 people there.
Ray had more friends than Mel, didn't he?
Yeah, he had more on his side of the church than she did. They were all betting on Mel, messing up. And any friends that do come close to her, she just shouts. Like I said, Billy. Billy was really trying to be friendly. Oh, a lioness looks after their cubs. Oh, shut up, Billy, get out. All right. So she brought on herself. Yeah. She can have Jack. They can run away together. Let them go.
To Mexico.
Yeah.
So there you go. That was our roundup of the week.
Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget you can also email us, eastendersweekly@gmail.com. Oh, just before I forget, did you phone Spain back?
No, why? Was I meant to?
Yeah, I left a note for you on the fridge.